Today, I think we're going to talk a little bit about self-publishing and the challenges. Hey guys, it's Dora from flippinghousesanpancakes.com, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the major challenges I found while self-publishing my cookbook. Now, if you don't know, if you're on my channel but you don't know that I self-published this beautiful cookbook, Flipping Houses and Pancakes, Kosher Recipes and Kitchen Design Tips from an Amateur Professional, that's me. I self-published this cookbook. It has hardcover. It has, this is one of my kids' copies because I gave them each a copy. It's full color, absolutely everything. Look at the photos, beautiful. Even has an index. Oh my goodness. Even has an index. Real professional style cookbook. It's got the ISBN number, the whole thing. This is not, it's not a paperback cookbook. It's not a spiral bound cookbook. This is like the real thing. And I actually had a lot of people go, oh, when I told them I was self-publishing a cookbook, they were like, oh, very nice. And when I showed it to them, they're like, oh, it's like a real cookbook. I'm like, yeah, I worked really hard to make a real cookbook. Anyhow, the big challenges that came up while writing this cookbook, and my number one big challenge, I'm going to tell you at the end, but some of the big challenges, and I might make some other videos if you're interested about some of the stuff that I came across while making this cookbook and some of the things I learned, some of the things that I absolutely hated and absolutely loved about making a cookbook. But I wanted to tell you the most difficult thing, hands down, when it came to making my cookbook. So first you would think, oh, it's writing the cookbook. No, I really enjoyed writing the cookbook. It was really easy. It felt like it just flowed. I had so many things to tell you in this book, to tell you about each recipe and to tell you about kitchen design and about the different things that I love doing because I love kitchen design and I love cooking. Some of the challenges that I encountered were people going, like publishers saying things like, I don't understand the connection between kitchens and cooking. And I was like, what do you mean? Where do you cook? You cook in the kitchen. It makes a big difference. Tying the two subjects together because they are tied together. Whew. Anyhow, when I decided to self-publish my book instead of going through a regular publisher, that was one of the big challenges. It meant I had to do a lot of the work myself that I was thinking I wouldn't have to do. And it meant I was going to have to take on a lot of the expense that I was really hoping a publisher would do. So that was a really big challenge. That was one thing I wasn't thrilled with. That was hard. That was a hard part, was making the decision to go through making the go through with it, make the cookbook, make it look professional, like a book that you would get from any publisher, but to do it myself. That was really, really hard. And I had to find, I did everything on the inside pretty much all by myself. I did have a friend who edited it for me. She did a lot of work. She edited it. We even got together and had her family and my family, and we all sat around the table and passed papers and stuff like that. And I can tell you more about that process if you're interested in hearing about that, about the process going through editing the book. I had a friend who came and took a lot of the food photos. I did some of them. She did probably 2/3, and I did 1/3 of the food photos. And I had one of my neighbors who we worked with on a lot of real estate photo shoots, who came in and was amazing and did some of my photo shoots for the houses. So when you see a really good photo in my cookbook and it's of a house and the house is finished and looks beautiful, I did not take that picture. I took the trashed ones. I did not take the finished photos because my pictures do not come out good enough, and my neighbor's photos were great. So we had my editor, Hannah, and my two photographers, Rachel and Israel, and they were amazing, and their information is all in my cookbook, so they get full credit for all the help that they gave me with that. I had to do all the formatting. I figured out how to format. This was a lot. I learned a lot. And if you want, I can do a video about all the things I learned while publishing this cookbook. But I learned how to format. I learned how to index. I have two relatives who index on a regular basis for a living, and I don't know how they do it. Shout out to you guys. I know you're watching. I don't know how you do it. I was going totally insane while doing this index, and for future reference, I'm just going to ask you to do it for me. That would be much better. Maybe. But that's if I ever publish another cookbook. Mind you, just so you know, like, this was so much work. I do have enough recipes and enough material and titles, by the way, to do 2 more cookbooks at this moment. I don't have the time, and I think I need to sell some of more of my cookbooks before I could do that, but we'll get to that. Anyhow, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. If we have enough people who buy my cookbook, I could do another one or 2. Okay, so anyhow, so some of the hard parts were deciding to self-publish and then actually doing the work of self-publishing, finding the printer, doing all the layouts, everything, And just so you know, I managed to find an amazing printer, not just in the United States, but here in Maryland. And they got my books printed here in the United States for me, and they came out beautiful, and I'm so happy. I have a fully made in the USA cookbook. I didn't have to send it overseas. A lot of people have their books printed in China because they're a little bit cheaper, and I went with a slightly more expensive but all American made cookbook, and I was absolutely thrilled with it. Would 100% do that again. They were terrific. And that was Signature Printing here in Maryland. They were great, and they are acknowledged in my cookbook as well. Anyhow, okay, so there were a lot of challenges, and I thought, okay, this is a major challenge, getting the book put together, assembled, all the information, everything edited. Oh my goodness, I was wrong. Those were the easy parts. Those were the easy parts and the fun parts. Here's the really, really difficult part for self-publishing a book, self-publishing a cookbook, but probably any other book as well. And keep in mind that I self-published a hardcover cookbook with full color pages, which means I really couldn't use any of the print-on-demand software like KDP or Ingram Spark. I couldn't do those softwares where they'll just print one copy every time somebody orders one. Because they're really, really expensive to print a 350-page book like this. This would cost more than double what I paid to print it, just to do it through KDP. And the photos would not come out as nice and crisp and clean. And I wanted to have kind of the control over making sure it looked beautiful every time somebody bought my book. I guess the nice part about self-publishing is that I had full creative control, and I could decide, no, I want it to look just right every time. So, and we can talk about that at some point too, if you would like. You're going to let me know down below if you want to hear more videos about my self-publishing process and how I came to make this book. I would be happy to do some more videos on that subject. I usually do videos on cooking or on houses, but since I have a cookbook, I was like, you know what, I should tell you a little bit about it. And here's my biggest challenge. Are you ready for it? It's not what you think it's going to be. I didn't think it was going to be as big of a challenge. I was like, okay, I didn't print huge amounts of cookbooks. How bad could it be, right? The biggest challenge that I found in this whole cookbook process is the publicizing of my cookbook. Really, really advertising and promoting the cookbook, self-promotion. I have to promote me and my cookbook. You need to know that I'm a good cook in order to want to buy my book, right? And it has meant that I went from 0 social media to Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, Rumble, video shorts, and long videos like this, and taking you guys everywhere so you can see all the stuff I'm doing. Now, I don't do quite so much. I don't put my kids on the videos and things like that, but it still is a lot of stuff that I've had to do for self-promotion. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna advertise a little bit. I've got an Instagram account. This is gonna be great. People will know about it, and I'm gonna do a launch party, and everybody will be like, wow, I'm gonna buy her cookbook. And I'll get it into a few stores and then in the community. Guys, this is the hardest part. the book promotion is the hardest part. Hands down, absolutely the worst part of self-publishing a book is that you have to do all the promoting yourself. You could hire somebody, but I already paid to print the books. That was a big bundle of money. So I don't really have the money to then spend on promoting the book. And not only that, but it costs me money to continuously have it listed on Amazon. Every month I'm like, is it worth it? Is it worth keeping it on Amazon? Do I pull it from Amazon and keep it only on my website? But then it's like, but then will people buy it if they have to go to my website instead of just being able to buy it off of Amazon? I'm telling you, the self-promoting and the book promotion and constantly I'm sending emails and I'm posting things in places, but I'm trying to do it in places that don't cost me a lot of money, or I'm even posting it where it does cost a lot of money, but not enough people know who I am, so they're not buying the book. Or they don't recognize the publisher, because that's happened a lot. They don't recognize the publisher. And they're like, I don't know who the publisher is, so how do I trust that book? And then they don't buy it. So the biggest challenge has been absolutely getting people to know that my book exists, and then getting people to not only want to buy it, but actually go out and buy it. And that has been a real challenge. We've done like neighborhood block parties where we've rented tables and set up and sold, and watching all the people walk by going like, I don't know what that book is, so I don't want to buy it. And you're like, just come and look at it, please, just look. And just constantly putting out ads and knowing that you've spent so much time and effort getting everything ready, and then you don't get any response back. Or the algorithm changes on one of your social media accounts and now nobody's seeing any of your videos and things like that. And it has been a major challenge. I think that is the most difficult part of self-publishing, is that usually a publisher does a lot of the advertising for you. They put it in the bookstores for you. They put out ads for you. They tell people that your book exists, and when you have to do it yourself, it's really hard. It's really hard to walk into a store and be like, hey, I wrote this book. Would you sell it? Guys, I'm telling you, if you have any ego at all, this will totally destroy it. Any self-confidence issues, this will make it worse. This will make it worse. Because it's really hard. It's really hard to walk in and try and convince people to just give your book a try, knowing that it's really amazing, and knowing that the few hundred people maybe who've bought your book absolutely love it and are waiting for the next book. I've had so many people who I know have my first book come up to me and say, or message me and say like, when's the next one coming out? I need more recipes. I want more. And I'm like, I have to sell these first. If nobody knows about my first book, why would I sell a second? Like, I'm not going to go through the process of making a second book until I know more people know about the first one. Whoa, it's so challenging. And I know I've spoken with other business people who have other products that they're trying to sell, and self-promotion, it's like you have to promote your product and yourself at the same time, which is really awkward and uncomfortable, because you don't just want to buy my book. You want to know that I know what I'm doing first, right? You want to know that I cook. You want to know that I cook well before you're willing to try my recipe. You want to know that I can make a kitchen look beautiful and functional before you're willing to buy my book and read about how you can do it yourself. And then there's so many people right now who are like, well, and I get this all the time, I only get recipes online. Like, if you put it for free online, I'll do it. And I'm like, that's nice. I'm not putting, I have some on my blog. I have some recipes on my blog. They're not the same recipes that are in my cookbook. If you want the ones in my cookbook, you have to buy my cookbook. because I don't get any advertising money. I don't get that whole thing, my blog. I set up a blog just for promotion of my cookbook. I set up a website and a blog and all of my social media accounts, and I send a newsletter every week, or not every week, every month. So if you're not subscribed to my newsletter, you can do that on my website as well. And every week I send you links for all of my new blog posts. Every month I send you links for all of my blog posts and all of my YouTube videos from that week and from that month. Oh, it has been a long day today, you guys. And I also tell you kind of what's happening, what's coming up in the next month of our business and cooking and just life in general some. And I think that is really hard. So like I set up so many things, which is great. I learned how to blog. I learned how to make a website. I learned how to do shorts, although I don't have a lot of time to spare to make amazing shorts. So I make less, more basic videos for my YouTube shorts or my Instagram stories. I don't do huge amounts of Instagram stories because I simply don't have time, and my kids don't want to be in them, which I don't want my younger kids to be in them, and my older kids who are over 18 don't necessarily want to be in them. And then it's just one of those complicated things where it's like, there's a lot of work that goes into promoting, and I'm making flyers and I'm sending them out and I'm posting them on chats. And, but it's really expensive to buy ads. So I don't do that very often because it just puts me more in the hole because I had to pay for all the books first. I hope I didn't ramble too much with that whole concept. But the idea behind it is that the worst part that I found of self-publishing is that when you self-publish, you don't have a publisher to do things like promote your book for you. And that is a challenge. If you have any great ideas that are not like the constant emails that I get, constantly getting emails of like, we saw your stuff and you're not getting enough traction. I'm like, yeah, I know. But again, those people want me to pay them, and I can't really afford to pay them right now to promote my book. So I don't want to do that. Very tricky. It's very, very hard. There's like a weird line where you walk where it's like, I'm willing to spend this much money on promoting my book and this much time. And it's a major challenge. It's a major challenge because maybe if I paid somebody to do the promotion for me, maybe more people would know about it. I was at a family event and said something to a cousin about my book and said, "Wow, I didn't know you had a book." And I was like, "Well," they're like, "You need somebody new to like. You should talk to your PR person because they're doing a terrible job." And I'm like, "Yes, I know. That's me. I'm the PR person." So anyhow, if you have any amazing ideas, I would love to hear them. If you've had similar issues with self-promoting and promoting your own book and stuff like that, because you self-published, I would love to hear those stories too. And if you want me to tell you more about the insane process of publishing my own cookbook, self-publishing my own cookbook, I would love to do that. Tell me what you want to hear about and I will make you more videos about it. And guess what? If you didn't already, you should check out my website, flippinghouseandpancakes.com, because my cookbook is there and you can see some of the pages and learn more about my book and maybe even buy a copy because it is an amazing cookbook, you guys. It really, really is amazing. And it's super easy and fun to use. And there's humor in there. And I've got, like, my kids will take it out. And I'll walk into the kitchen and they're like, "We're making pancakes." And I was like, they're learning to cook with my cookbook, which is great because I really made it for them. So if you enjoyed that and you want more of that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you find out every time I upload a new video. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much and bore you. If you want to find out more about self-publishing my cookbook, comment down below. And as always, like I said, check out my website, flippinghouseandpancakes.com.